Yo, what's up guys, Cozy here, back with another quick Genshin Impact video. Yesterday we had another Spiral Abyss reset and I've seen a lot of people on Twitter struggling with this version. I struggle too, not gonna lie, because this one is a bit of a pain, mostly because of two very annoying enemies. But I've got a few tips and tricks to help you out. However, I don't want to waste too much of your time, as such, here's the plan. We will quickly go over our enemy roster and after that I will do a showcase run using some slightly weird teams, one of which is going to include Chasca because, well, you will see why in a moment. Alright, so Chamber 1. Honestly, not the worst in my opinion. The main problem here are the consecrated beasts. They can be annoying if you're not careful enough, but they should be manageable. Just remember they drop their cores. If you destroy those cores, they will lose about 30% of their HP, somewhere around that ballpark, which is going to help you out a lot. For the Vulture we have a Pyro Core and for the Crocodile it is a Hydro Core. So bring someone who can deal with those cores efficiently if you're struggling with DPS. You can take them out before that, but if you're struggling then this will most certainly help you out. Now once you clear the first half you will run into the Primo Geovishap, which is the real reason why this chamber can be considered as a little bit of a race against the clock. If you got a shield character, this is the time to use them. Shields can be used in order to stun its AoE mechanic, and because of the current blessing, you will also deal 2 damage while shielded. Is this blessing a game changer? Probably not. It's okay. If you can adjust your team for it, then go for it, most certainly. But if you can't, then it's no big deal. Overall, Chamber 1 is more of a DPS check than anything else, but that kinda changes in Chamber 2. Now, this is where things start to get spicy. You've got 2 enemies in here, a Qucusaur and our all-new Papilla enemy. Let us start by talking about our Qucusaur enemy, because in my opinion this one isn't too bad. Just bring a Hydro character. As simple as that. If you have Furry, she's perfect here. Her elemental skill alone will be able to shred through that Pyro Shield in no time. If you don't have Furry, don't worry, Yelan works too. Or maybe Kokomi and Barbara if their attacks can hit the Qucusaur while it is flying. Not 100% sure on that. Once you take down its shield, the fight is over pretty quickly. For a Netland boss it doesn't really have that much HP. Simply save your elemental burst rotation for when it is stunned and you should be fine. Now let us talk about our Papilla enemy, aka my bane of existence, because I will be honest here, I had to restart a lot of runs because I simply wasn't able to break its shield. This guy starts the fight with a charging mechanic, and I actually had to look it up because, let's be honest, when you fight it in the open world you barely even notice it. Here is how it works. It has a stack counter you need to break before it finishes charging. You've got a total of 13 seconds to do so, and if you don't break it, it will do a massive AoE nuke attack, which is most likely going to one-shot your active character, unless you either iframe it by using your elemental burst animation, or you have a strong enough shield. The good news is that if you break it in time, you get 2 benefits. A free DPS window, because it's stunned, and it loses about 70% of its elemental resistance, and on top of that, it only recovers half of that after its stun window. The bad news? Obviously, if you don't break it, you will be fighting a boss with a permanent 70% elemental resistance buff, so yeah, kinda don't let that happen. Now the way to break it is to hit it 72 times. You heard that right? 72 times. Normally this is where most teams struggle because hitting that many attacks in such a short time is simply put stupid. But Netland characters get a bit of a shortcut. When they are in their Night Soul state, their attack counts for 3 points instead of 1. However, if you know a little bit about our Netland characters, you should see a problem here. Mualani, big hits, but not a lot of them. Chilonin hardly ever stays in her Night Soul state. Kachina probably doesn't bring enough DPS to the field in order to get a full clear. Auroran kinda in the same boat. So that kinda leaves us with Chasca and Kinich. I personally don't have Kinich, so I had to use Chasca, as simple as that. If you have either of those characters, use them. I can't emphasize that enough. Use them. It will make this fight so much easier. If you don't have them, one team for me that was able to break the shield in time was a Taser team. So yeah, Miko, Fischl and so on. But that is also super restrictive, obviously, right? Besides those, you can also go for any team composition where you use a lot of attacks, so mainly Yelan compositions or teams where you use a lot of elemental reactions, burning, blooming or superconduct for example. I tried out a Yelan composition earlier with Chlorint, and this one took care of our Papilla enemy in no time as well. So yeah, either Chasca, Aurora or Kenichi, or a team composition where you do a lot of attacks. But you know, at the very end of the day, it is what it is. It is a mess. I didn't design it, and in my opinion, it is a bad boss design, to be honest. But, you know, don't blame me. I am just the messenger. Lastly, if you made it this far, first of all, congratulations. At this point, DPS probably isn't your issue anymore. The main obstacle here is the Golden Wolf Lord. Simply bring a Geo character to deal with its intermission phase. I use Shelonin on my first clear, and while she works, it's kinda clunky. Ideally, you want to use someone who can deal consistent geo damage, like Ningguang for example, but besides that, the Wolf Lord isn't that tanky, so you shouldn't have that much of a problem here. Finally, you've got a Aeon Blight Drake. Honestly, this guy is a joke. He is a walking HP bar, as simple as that. Hit him until he dies and you're good to go. That is kinda it, right? So you will most likely use most of your time on the Wolf Lord, and the Aeon Blight Drake shouldn't be that much of a problem. Alright, that is all when it comes to our enemies. What we're going to do next is a full clear of the Spiral Abyss. I will just show you my run. There's no commentary or anything like that because I don't feel like you need it. It's just a full run, so you can see how I approach all the different fights. And I'm also going to use at least one somewhat awkward composition, which you don't see that often. However, I'm also going to use one, I guess, meta composition in the form of Chasca, because frankly speaking, for our Papilla enemy, we kinda need it. As simple as that. Like I said, I didn't design it, right? So if you have any further questions, feel free to drop them down below in the comments. And if the video was helpful, leave a like, a sub, all of that stuff. And yeah, I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.